So a pleasant morning to each and everyone. So we are the group 2 and today we are going to share about the activity 3 distinctness of a learner in a diverse classroom. So this is our intended learning outcomes. So for the narrative report on the main 3 diversity of learners discussion lecture, we as teaching interns are faced with the crucial task of recognizing and accommodating the individual differences among learners. So this observation conducted among various schools. We have the Agdao Integrated School, Bacnar ES, Kalubawan ES, Central 2 and Central 1 and Central 2 ES, and lastly, Pagal Elementary School. It underscores the significance of considering learners' diverse backgrounds in educational planning and aims to reflect on the strategies and routines employed by the teachers to address the individual differences amongst learners. So, emphasizing the importance of inclusive education. So, as teaching interns at different schools, our experience has been enriched by a reflective understanding of a challenging yet rewarding task associated with recognizing and accommodating the diverse backgrounds of learners. So building on this, teachers at different schools implemented a diverse of strategies to address multiple intelligences in the classroom, which we learned a lot from them. So this includes innovative approaches such as PowerPoint presentations, interactive videos, and songs using Smart TV, alongside with the extensive use of traditional methods like blackboards, printed materials, and Manila papers as instructional materials. So in conclusion, our experiences have underscored the importance of acknowledging the and celebrating diversity among learners. So the philosophy encapsulated in the statement, there is beauty in learning diversity. So there is beauty in learning diversity extends beyond the confines of the classroom, portraying learners as beauty like a rainbow, each contributing its colors and hue. So it's like a rainbow. Even though they have the different colors, it's still beautiful. So for the questions, we have how much interaction is there in the classroom? Describe how the students interact with one another and with the teacher. So are there groups that interact more with the teacher than others? So classroom interactions exhibited variation. So with some groups displaying enhanced engagement with the teacher, while others preferred peer-to-peer interactions. So for instance, learners who can read have more interaction within the classroom. So in that case, the strategy used by the teacher that we observe is peer-to-peer interactions. So for instance, sa grade 1, yung mga active is sinasama ni teacher sa mga mahiyain na learner. So number 2, observe the learner's behavior during the conduct of the class and how they behave and interact differently. So like what I have said, academic noises are often produced by those who are always active in the classroom or the learner na want lang nila ng attention ng teacher. So with that, routines were established such as effective use of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, di ba, after counting 5, usually dapat settle na lahat. So it's usually used to manage the behavior of the learners. So, yun yung strategy na ginagamit ng teacher na na-observe din namin. So number 3 is describe the relationship among the learners. Do the learners cooperate or compete against each other? So the classroom environment facilitated a mix of cooperation and healthy competition. And various educational games were introduced. So incorporating an element of healthy competition such as rewards and applause for the winners. So despite of this competitive aspect, the cooperation among the learners remained evident since yung mga activities were designed to encourage teamwork and collective problem solving na ginawa talaga ni teacher for friendly competition. So number 4, who among the students or learners participated actively? Who among them asked for help? So it was observed that the learners participated actively are the learners who are listening and who can read. So in the primary setting, it was also observed that those who sought for help were often the ones with slower writing speed, yung mga mababagal magsulat sa blackboard, and the learners who could not understand the lesson because they are not listening or maingay sila or yung mga hindi marunong pa masyadong magbasa, indicating a potential need for one-to-one assistance from the teacher. So number 5, when a learner is called and cannot answer the teacher's question, do the classmates try to help him or do they raise hands so that the teacher will call them instead? So in some cases, yes, since they want the attention of the teacher, but the teacher always emphasize the rule of raising hands before they speak, diba? And encouraging waiting them for the learner to answer. So after that, if the teacher gives the learner a chance to speak and share their ideas with the others. So if the time is limited, the teacher may seek approval from the another student who raised their hand. So for the next discussion,
Good day everyone. In these slides is the analyze part. Number 1, identify the person who plays the key roles in the relationships and interaction in the virtual classroom. What roles do they play? Is there somebody who appears to be the leader, a mascot or a joker, an attention seeker, a little teacher, a doubter, or a pessimist? As we observe, each learner plays a role in making the learning environment better. The teacher leads students by giving guidance, and to make the learning fun, a mascot or entertainer can bring humor. People who want attention feel good when recognized, and the assistant teachers support their peers. Additionally, there's also a doubter who asks thought-provoking questions, encouraging deeper thinking in the class. Number 2, how does the teacher influence the class interaction considering the individual differences of the students in a classroom? The teacher makes everyone feel important by recognizing their strengths and areas to improve. To ensure inclusive participation, the teacher employs diverse teaching methods and provides various learning opportunities so everyone can join during the class discussion. The teacher transforms classroom into a community where students embrace and respect each other's differences, promoting compassion and empathy. Next slide is the reflect part. Number 1, how did you feel as you observed in the classroom? Did you feel a sense of oneness or unity among the learners and between the teacher and the learners? Observing the elementary classroom, we felt a heartwarming sense of oneness and unity. The teacher played a pivotal role as a guiding presence, facilitated collaboration and trust among students, while students actively engaged in a cooperative activities, sharing laughter and providing support to each other. The strong band observed highlighted the effectiveness of the teacher approach, not only promoting academic growth, but also a genuine sense of unity among the diverse learners. Number 2, in the future, how would you want the learners in your classroom to interact? How will you make it happen? In the future, we envision a classroom where students engage in a friendly discussion and teamwork. To accomplish this, we organize activities that promote idea sharing and collaboration, utilizing also the age-appropriate technology as an element of fun to lessons, contributing to an engaging learning environment. This approach transforms the learning experience into a joyful and collaborative journey that students can bring forward into their future. And the next slide is the evidences and documents. Here is the snapshots of exploring varied strategies intended for diverse learners among different schools.
For this part, these are the intended learning outcomes. Next slide. And now let's move on to the observation report. So the age of children we observe is around 6 to 7 years old. So they are grade 1 pupils. So first is the physical, which divided into 3 learning domains as shown on your screen. So first is the gross motor skills. So as we observe, most of the time nakaupo lang sila, especially is when the teacher is discussing in front. So they are tend or allowed to stand when doing games such as pass the game message, and also allowed to stand when doing energizer dances to increase motivation and keep them active during class hour. So next is the fine motor skills. So as part of the teaching and learning process, learners are writing, coloring, and clapping when the teacher asks them to clap or compliment their classmates, and also raise their hand as part of the classroom rules. And lastly, under the physical is the self-help skills, self-help skills. So as observed by the group, the classroom is organized well. So the learners can easily access different resources inside the classroom, such as TV, books, and other learning materials. And next is social. And first is interaction with teachers. So as we observe, teaching and learning process is interactive and engaging because the teacher love to ask questions and the pupils also love to express their thoughts and ideas. And next is interaction with classmates. So as part of their routine, when someone is sharing his or her ideas in front, they are actively listen and also they are actively interact with others when they are asking questions. And next is interest, their interest. So as we live in the modern era, they have interest in mobile games and online games. So, and as we all know, children also have interest in sharing their stories that they experience in the everyday life. Next slide. So third is their emotional. First is moods, temperament, expression of feelings. So as for this part, we observe that they can control their feelings but also with the guide of their teacher. And next is emotional interdependence. So this part, we observe that they love expressing themselves, especially kapag mga kwento, grabe, sobrang dami nilang pwedeng i-share sa'yo. And next is cognitive. First, sa cognitive is communication skills. So, as what a grade 1 learner can do, they can communicate well. So, madaldal sila, ang dami nilang pwedeng ikwento sa'yo. Madami silang pwedeng baon na pwedeng i-share sa'yo. And next is thinking skills. So far, we observe na okay rin yung thinking skills nila. So, their teacher always give them time or let them think and lagi rin silang tinatanong. So, by that, they can develop their thinking skills as well as their critical thinking skills. And lastly, the problem-solving skills. So, as we observe, hindi lang enough yung nakakasagot sila or nakukuha nila yung sagot. So, we observe na lagi rin silang tinatanong ng mga hot questions like, paano mo nakuha yung sagot? So, that's all po. Next discussion.
So analyze. The level of observations is the elementary age range of children observed 6 to 7 years old, and the silent characteristic observed is the first grade. The first graders are still developing fine motor skills. The second one is the first graders have a more limited vocabulary compared to older learners, and the third one is first graders typically have a shorter attention span. An application to the teaching learning process. The first one is as their fine motor skills are not fully matured, teachers should integrate activities that promote motor skill development, incorporate exercises like a drawing, tracing, and hands-on projects to enhance their ability to form letters, correctly improve handwritings. Since they're grade 1 pupils, is kailangan natin na ma-develop yung to create letters like ABC, and the second one is teachers should use language that is simple, easy for them to comprehend. Focus on building foundational vocabulary through interactive, engaging activities. Encourage the use of common words and gradually introduce more complex terms as their language skills develop. Kailangan as a future teacher is since they are grade 1 pupils, we need to kailangan is easy lang dapat para madali silang matuto at madali nilang ma-adapt yung mga bagay na gusto nating ituro sa kanila. The third one is lessons should be designed with short focus activities, break down tasks into smaller segments and incorporate a variety of instructional methods to keep them engaged. Utilize visual aids, interactive games, and movement to maintain their interest and sustain their attentions throughout the lessons. And last one is the acknowledging the challenge of sustaining attentions. Teachers should employ visual aids such as pictures, diagrams, and charts. Since they are grade 1, kailangan natin na mag-focus sa attention span nila kasi minsan hindi sila, since if we compare to the other graded like intermediate pupils, kailangan natin maging attention, kailangan natin ng mag-focus sa kanila kasi sila yung mga, ang isip pa lamang nila is hindi masyadong mature. The next one, next slide po. Further reflect, the first question, while you were observing the learners, did you recall your experience when you were at the age? And what similarities or differences you have with the learners you observe? Yes, because when we're elementary school, usually the teacher used traditional materials, unlike today, who have access to a wide range of digital resources, interactive tools, and personal learning platforms that were programmed with knowledge about both historical and instructional materials, enabling us to support learners in navigating the difference and similarities between education in the past and the present. The second one question, think of a teacher you cannot forget for a positive or negative reason, and how did she or he or not help you with your needs, physical, emotional, social, and cognitive? How did it affect you? The teacher, or we will never forget the elementary school teacher who was so support, and she took the time to get to know each of her students as a unique individuals and was always available to listen to and offer words of encouragement. She also created a warm, inviting environment where we felt comfortable sharing our feelings and thought as the value of empathy, of understanding. In addition to that, she promoted teamwork in the social sense, which helped us grow as individuals and as a team. She also planned extracurricular events and group discussions, which further our shared understanding of each other. She helped us the importance. This experience helped us not academically but also as individuals. Her support and guidance shaped us our values and belief, and we grateful for the lasting impact. And the last one, share your other insight here. So upon concluding this chapter, we understand a variety of factors could affect or contribute to child development, such as physical, mental, social, and cognitive. All ideas are employed to teach pupils in how to interact with other catch up with their environment. Next slide po. For the evidence documentations with the captions of embracing diversity, fostering unity in learning. Next slide. Again, we were the Group 2. Thank you for listening.